China is a land of majestic mountains where nature paints breathtaking masterpieces. From cliffside temples to endless grasslands and shores where waves crash against the mountains, each peak tells its own story. These mountains showcase the grandeur of nature, where humanity is just a small part of the vast landscape. Differences in geology, climate, and scenery have created natural wonders found nowhere else on Earth. Today, we embark on a journey to explore the 100 most beautiful mountains in China, from world-famous icons to hidden marvels. Mount Mian is the only place in China tied to the origin of the Cold Food Festival, which came from the tragic legend of Jie Zitui, who burned himself with his mother to honor loyalty and filial piety. The mountain has a unique limestone cave system where ancient temples are built directly into vertical rock cliffs, preserving old Taoist rituals. In the early morning, thick fog wraps around the slopes, making the whole mountain seem to float in a sea of clouds, creating a surreal and captivating view. Steep cliffs, ancient trees gripping rocky walls, and small waterfalls running through stone crevices form a vibrant ecosystem at nearly 5,000 feet high. The blend of mythology, towering scenery, and Eastern spirituality makes Mount Mian a truly rare and remarkable place on China's travel map. Shanhai Guan is a rare junction between mountain and sea, where the ancient wall ends at a coastal plain, forming a special terrain in the entire Great Wall system. The land here has low hills behind and an open sea in front, allowing the structure to use both elevation for observation and flat ground to monitor sea and land routes. Unlike wall sections built on hard rock, this area sits on a geological zone between rocky slopes and sandy coast, requiring reinforced earth foundations combined with stone walls for stability. With its position between two contrasting ecosystems, Shanhaiguan became a rare military point that controls in multiple directions and holds both scenic and strategic value. As the longest man-made structure ever built, the Great Wall stretches across rugged land like a giant stone dragon that both divides and unifies ancient geography. This wall is not just a military defense, but a symbol of engineering, human effort, and strategic vision lasting thousands of years. Its sections were carefully built to follow mountain ridges and hillsides, forming a powerful and flowing shape in harmony with nature. Building materials changed by region, from rammed earth and limestone to bricks, helping it withstand harsh weather and the test of time. Construction began in the 7th century BCE and was expanded by many dynasties, reflecting a long and complex military history. Unlike natural mountains, the Great Wall is a blend of harsh terrain and human design, making it a one-of-a-kind wonder in ancient architecture. Baishishan Mountain has rare terrain formed at the boundary between a limestone plateau and a low plain, creating high peaks with steep, upright slopes and distinctive white rock. Natural limestone columns rise from about 130 to over 650 feet, grouped in parallel lines, like vertical rock walls standing in open space. The rock surfaces reflect strong light, making the slopes appear bright at midday in summer, even when temperatures are not high. This area has high-altitude climate, averaging around 6,000 feet, with thin air, morning fog, and strong midday sunlight that supports intense light reflection. According to local legend, on certain days each year, light passing through a specific rock gap creates a light gate, believed to be a remnant of ancient hermits. Despite complex terrain, clear route planning makes Baishishan a top destination for trekking, photography, and high-altitude landscape study. As one of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains in China, Mount Juhua is often called a pure land on earth, where thousands of temples and statues blend into misty forests and peaks. Standing about 4,300 feet tall, the mountain features 9 sharp summits, shaped like lotus petals, which inspired its name, Juyuhua, meaning 9 flowers. Dozens of ancient temples line its slopes, including one that enshrines the incorrupt body of monk Kim Chaojue, revered as the incarnation of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. A mysterious event once recorded was during a full moon in August, when a Buddha statue's hand glowed faintly, captured only as a dim light with no sound on video. Every year, tens of thousands of devotees and visitors come to Mount Juhua not just to worship, but to find inner peace through nature and Buddhist teachings. The heart of an ancient kingdom now hides among rugged mountains. This is Wunu Mountain, the first capital of Goguryeo, founded in 37 BC. The mountain rises nearly 2,000 feet, surrounded by steep cliffs and dense forests, forming a natural fortress almost impossible to breach. From the summit, visitors can view the entire region of rivers and forests, a strategic advantage used in ancient governance. The most famous legend tells of 5 young women who gave their lives to protect their village, and the mountain was named Wunu, 5 women, in their memory. Remains of the ancient city still exist on the mountain top, including stone walls, foundations, and paths built tightly along the natural terrain, reflecting strategic military thinking. This place carries both historical remains and mythical weight, where every slope and stone seems to hold a story from the past. Today, Wunu Mountain is a nationally recognized archaeological site and a top destination for those eager to explore ancient history surrounded by majestic nature. Mount Wutai has a unique landform with 5 flat-topped peaks arranged symmetrically, forming a rare spatial structure among ancient mountain systems. These peaks are not sharp, but shaped like natural tabletops, formed by long-term weathering of metamorphic and magmatic rock, creating rare stability at high altitude. The area has a cold climate year-round, with morning fog cycles, frequent winter snow, and noticeably thin air at the summits. On windy days, a thin fog layer moves just above the ground, creating a visual effect that feels like walking inside low-floating clouds. A local legend says that during an ancient snowstorm, a group of exhausted pilgrims found a dry path leading to safety. But after the snow melted, the path vanished without trace. This story has connected the summit area with the belief in a path of salvation, often left undiscussed in formal rituals. Mount Huaguo is best known as the legendary birthplace of Sun Wukong, the mythical figure from the famous novel Journey to the West. Xiangshan Park stretches across rolling mountain terrain, where ancient granite slopes blend with maple forests to form a vivid layered landscape. In autumn, the entire forest turns deep red and golden, creating a brilliant color blanket across the hills, especially glowing under slanting afternoon light. Scattered on rocky outcrops are old wooden watchtowers, once used by Qing royals during mountain excursions. This harmony of terraced landform, ecological transition, and historical depth gives Xiangshan its lasting and singular value. The Yandang Mountains feature ancient volcanic rock formations torn vertically into towering cliffs, with bizarrely shaped peaks rising sharply around narrow canyons. At night, a natural phosphorescent glow often appears on damp cliff surfaces, casting a faint blue light that follows the mountain's fracture lines. Deep caves remain hidden at the base of the vertical cliffs, some spanning dozens of meters, carved by underground water over thousands of years. High along the mountain ridges, vegetation clings in tight clusters to sheer rock faces, forming vivid green lines against the dark stone. Locals often speak of stormy nights when echoing sounds like stone scraping stone can be heard through the canyons with no visible source. Yandang is a space of vertical raw geology that holds within it a series of unexplained phenomena yet to be fully understood. The most striking feature of Bakwan Gorge is its towering rock walls rising hundreds of feet and curving like a natural fortress within the mountain range. Clear lakes nestled between giant stone crevices reflect the mountains, creating a space that feels both peaceful and alive. A strange phenomenon once reported is a glowing green light moving along the cliffs on full moon nights, believed by locals to be the spirit energy of the mountain gods. The ecosystem remains nearly untouched, with ancient trees and thick vegetation growing right on the rock faces. With its dramatic scenery and mysterious atmosphere, Bakwan Gorge is an ideal destination for photographers, adventurers, and travelers seeking something beyond the ordinary. Jinshaling is located on a rugged mountain ridge, where the wall was built along narrow peaks, allowing wide views in all directions and full control of the terrain below. The wall here is marked by a continuous line of watchtowers, forming a coordinated defense system stretching across many rocky summits. The surrounding landscape is temperate forest, turning bright red and yellow in autumn, which contrasts with the grey stone of the wall. When morning or sunset light hits the stone surface, the shadows create clear visual effects, making the walls seem to move with the light. The area's geology includes granite and clay, with slopes that are gentle on one side and steep on the other, giving both visual beauty and strong defense. Jinshaling is ideal for hiking along the near-original wall, crossing many towers, viewing the vast mountain scenery, and truly feeling the scale of the Great Wall. Yunqiu Mountain attracts visitors with a strange legend about the Heavenly Gate, a glowing ring that appears from the mountaintop at night, believed to connect heaven and earth. The scene becomes even more mysterious in winter, when tall cliffs are covered in white snow, creating a silent landscape isolated from the outside world. Ancient temples still stand on steep slopes, built to follow the rugged terrain, marking thousands of years of Taoist worship. Massive rocks, shaped like coiled dragons, crouching tigers, or open hands reaching into the air, are natural formations created over centuries of erosion. In early mornings, thick fog blankets the mountains, making visitors feel as if they are standing at the boundary of two worlds. With its supernatural lore, dramatic landscape, and deep historical roots, Yunqiu Mountain has become a must-visit destination for those seeking something extraordinary in their journey through China. There are mountains that don't just shape landscapes. They shape how we perceive the world itself. Huangshan is one such place. The entire range is defined by massive granite formations that rise vertically, with time carving their edges into sharply sculpted peaks. Cloud layers often pass between the cliffs, forming a sea of clouds that surrounds the summits and gives those standing above the sense of floating between realms. Some pine trees grow horizontally from narrow rock crevices, surviving for centuries under fierce winds and on sheer slopes. One person once recalled standing alone at dawn on a peak and seeing their own shadow cast upon the white clouds, surrounded by a glowing halo, an experience that made them believe this mountain reflects things words cannot fully describe. Huangshan offers no softness, only a raw gravitational pull, where rock, mist, light and wind form a space unlike any other. A place once chosen for meditation and teaching by spiritual masters is never an ordinary land. Tiantai is one of the rare sites that combines natural isolation with deep-rooted religious traces. The mountain's terrain is clearly layered, interspersed with hundreds of small streams winding through rock and waterfalls dropping from hundreds of feet, forming white mist that floats through the forest. On the higher peaks, ancient meditation halls are built directly onto rugged stone platforms, some only accessible by narrow steps clinging to cliffs. A remarkable phenomenon once recorded by locals. After a night of rain, the stone ground around the main temple softly glowed at dawn, with no identifiable source of light. The scenery shifts noticeably by elevation, from dense bamboo forests at the base to ancient pine trees bending in the mountain wind at higher altitudes. Tiantai is not a mountain to simply observe. It is a place to listen, where space, sound, and terrain evoke the feeling of stepping into another layer of reality. Arshan Chai River is the only place in China where three rare geological features meet: ancient volcanoes, an active fault zone, and surface hot springs. Black basalt layers, formed from eruptions millions of years ago, remain intact, with some areas showing hexagonal columns like crystal cross-sections. Pine forests cover the sides of extinct volcanic cones, forming a rare combination of fiery geology and cold climate ecosystem. At Tianqi Hot Spring, the watercolor shifts slightly with the seasons, believed to be caused by mineral changes in the subsurface rocks due to temperature. Arshan Chai River is not just a destination, but a gateway into the deep structure beneath the Earth's crust. Tianshan National Park is one of the rare places in China where ancient granite has eroded into thousands of uniquely shaped peaks, no two alike. The range stretches from north to south, forming a dense mountain system filled with narrow valleys where trees grow directly from cliff faces and roots break through solid rock. On the highest peaks, massive boulders are stacked in perfect balance, as if placed deliberately since the beginning of time. Many monks and Taoists chose Tianshan as a retreat, with more than 20 temples and shrines scattered across cliffs, including a giant Buddha carved directly into the mountain, nearly 230 feet tall, known as the Heaven-Split Stone Buddha. Each morning, as sunlight brushes the peaks and the mist recedes, the landscape resembles a colossal sculpture rising from the earth. Tianshan is a fusion of natural formation and spiritual heritage carved into the heart of stone. Paektu Mountain is the only stratovolcano in East Asia that still retains a complete crater structure, with Heaven Lake sitting at its center at over 8,600 feet in elevation. The lake's deep blue surface is mirror-like, formed by an eruption thousands of years ago, and its water remains consistently cold. Around the crater, fractured lava layers and dwarf pine slopes create a harsh yet pristine landscape. In midwinter, the entire area is buried in thick snow, but underground heat continues to surge through mineral springs, sending up white steam columns through the frost. At dawn, standing on the crater's edge, the sun breaks through the cold mist and transforms the lake's color, creating a near-surreal visual effect. Paektu Mountain is not just a mountain. It is a convergence of underground force, extreme climate, and ancestral legend. Zhongshan's scenic area is known as a special historical landmark, the resting place of a national leader who played an important role during the transition to modern times. With its layout, backed by mountains, facing the open plain, the entire structure reflects traditional beliefs in stability and honor, blended with modern ideals. The main path to the mausoleum follows a central axis with over 300 stone steps stretching from the main gate to the top, creating a solemn feeling from the very beginning. Structures such as the Grand Gate, Memorial Stele, and Main Hall are made of stone and glazed blue tiles, standing out amid ancient pine trees lining both sides. At the summit, visitors can enjoy a wide view over the green landscape below, with the central path extending straight down the mountain base. Today, this area serves not only as a national memorial, but also as a historical education site, attracting millions of visitors each year seeking knowledge and reflection. Sanshan's scenic area stands out with three closely grouped mountains rising from a wide river region, forming a rare mountains in the water landscape. The terrain is both steep and poetic, with sheer cliffs, green forests year-round, and ancient stone paths winding up the slopes. Many ancient structures like temples, towers, and pavilions were built directly into the mountainside, blending naturally with the landscape and reflecting historical, religious, and artistic values. One well-known legend tells of a monk who used a magical bell to drive away evil spirits from the area, and the sound of that bell became a sacred symbol passed down through generations. The mountain group once held strategic military importance in past dynasties and inspired poems and calligraphy from many scholars. Each peak offers wide views, and from the top, visitors can see the great river winding below, making it an ideal scenic lookout. Today, Sanshan is a major destination that blends cultural, historical, and natural elements, playing a key role in heritage preservation and tourism in the lower river region. Maoshan is known as a sacred mountain in Taoism and is considered the origin of one of the three main Taoist schools in ancient China, with a history of practice dating back to the Eastern Han period. Religious structures, such as temples, shrines, and altars, are built along the mountain slopes, arranged to reflect yin-yang philosophy and the natural curves of the landscape, creating a sacred atmosphere. Maoshan's terrain consists of multiple peaks about 1,500 feet high, covered in dense forests and thick mist, bringing a peaceful and mysterious feel year-round. A local legend tells of three Taoist masters who discovered an immortality talisman here and later transformed into three beams of light that rose into the sky, leaving a strong spiritual legacy. From the mountain peaks, visitors can see vast forests and ancient religious buildings blending into the untouched landscape. Today, Maoshan plays an important role not only in preserving religious heritage, but also as a top destination for those seeking deep cultural and spiritual experiences in a natural setting. When the tide recedes and reveals moss-covered stones beneath the mist, Mount Putuo appears as a sacred island, guarded by the sea itself. This landscape blends island mountain terrain with ancient beliefs, where numerous temples sit along slopes facing the ocean. At the highest peak stands a statue nearly 100 feet tall, placed directly in the wind's path, where the sound of chimes never ceases, even without human touch. In early morning, sea mist drifts upward, forming a thin white veil across ancient stone steps, making the path to the temple feel like passing through an unseen layer. At the mountain's base, A broad beach stretches beside pine forests where buried stone tablets with undeciphered symbols were once uncovered. Mount Putuo is not merely a pilgrimage site. It is a realm where faith, nature, and unexplained forces coexist as a living system. Jianglang Mountain is a remarkable scenic site with 3 vertical stone pillars rising like giant walls against the sky, creating a rare and majestic natural sight. These rock formations, about 2,690 feet tall, are made of granite and belong to the rare Danxia landform, showing clearly layered geological features. According to legend, 3 Jiang brothers transformed into the stone pillars after sacrificing their lives in battle, their spirits guarding the sacred land forever. Besides its natural beauty, this location is valuable for geologists studying tens of millions of years of mountain formation. Today, Jianglang Mountain is recognized as a World Natural Heritage Site and attracts tourists, photographers, and landscape enthusiasts from around the world. Tianzhu Mountain is defined by a massive pillar-shaped rock that rises dramatically into the sky, forming one of the most impressive granite formations in central China. At about 5,800 feet tall, the mountain was shaped over millions of years, resulting in towering stone walls and its iconic vertical peak resembling a column holding up the heavens. Its steep cliffs are covered by dense forest and layers of mist, creating a scene both powerful and mysterious. Hiking trails wind up the mountainside through waterfalls, gorges, and cliff-top viewing platforms offering panoramic views. At sunrise, golden beams pierce the mist, casting light pillars across the stone forest, delivering a breathtaking visual experience. With its awe-inspiring natural form and spiritual atmosphere, Tianzhu Mountain feels like a sacred bridge between earth and sky. Langya Mountain rises among forests and steep cliffs, marked by a sense of ancient charm and cultural depth once praised in classical Chinese literature. At about 3,400 feet high, it may not be tall, but its rugged terrain and pine-covered slopes create a quiet, dignified setting. When fog rolls in, temple roofs and pavilions emerge softly through the mist, forming a landscape like a traditional ink painting. Wooden corridors and lookout towers follow the contours of the cliffs, forming part of a historic architectural complex preserved over centuries. The mountain's connection to a famous classical essay has given it lasting symbolic meaning as a place of integrity and introspection. Gentle walking trails and stone steps shaded by tree canopies make this an ideal spot for peaceful walks, meditation, and panoramic views of layered hills. Where red cliffs rise from winding streams lies the unmistakable scene of Wuyi Mountains, a perfect symbol of China's rare Danxia landform. Though not extremely high, the mountains impress with vertical cliffs, deep valleys, and mirror-like waters that create a majestic yet peaceful setting. Visitors today can float on bamboo rafts through narrow gorges, look up at cliffs nearly 1,000 feet high, and admire ancient inscriptions carved into the rocks centuries ago. Formed from red sandstone, the terrain has evolved over millions of years, carving out bizarre rock shapes that stand like natural walls. Culturally, Wu Yi was a philosophical center of Confucianism, where scholar Zhu Xi founded an academy that shaped Chinese thought for centuries. A local legend speaks of a spring where a hermit achieved immortality after meditating there for years in seclusion. Rising through floating clouds and waterfalls plunging from nearly 1,500 feet, Mount Lu is a symbol of natural beauty that has inspired Chinese poetry for centuries. Its landscape blends steep limestone cliffs, deep valleys, and hidden lakes among green forests, creating a majestic yet graceful atmosphere. Mount Lu is not only a scenic site, but also a spiritual and philosophical center, once home to Buddhists, Taoists, and Confucian scholars. One mysterious phenomenon here is the Buddha's light, a rainbow halo appearing around a person's shadow in the mist, believed by many to be sacred. With cool weather year-round and morning fog, the mountain scenery constantly shifts, offering ever-changing views. Mount Lu also inspired famous poets, including Su Dongpo, who wrote about its mystical and layered appearance. Jingang Mountains are nestled among the southern forests, featuring rolling green hills, layered waterfalls, and one of the rare remaining primeval forest ecosystems in central China. Its rugged terrain, with peaks nearly 6,000 feet high, dense forests, and year-round fog, once provided natural shelter for revolutionary forces. Besides its stunning natural beauty, it is known as the cradle of the Chinese Revolution for being the first base of the Red Army in the early 20th century. In addition to its historic significance, Jinggang Mountains attract visitors with forest trails, ribbon-like waterfalls, and morning clouds curling over the summits. Visitors come here not only for fresh mountain air, but also to explore preserved revolutionary sites scattered across the mountains. Combining wild nature with historical legacy, Jinggang Mountains are a rare destination that reflects both untouched beauty and national memory. With three towering peaks rising through the clouds like deities in the sky, Mount Sanking is a complete symbol of Taoist landscape and majestic granite formations. This mountain is known for its strangely shaped rocks, resembling dragons, meditating figures, or giant hands, formed through long-term weathering of ancient granite. Mount Sanking is sacred in Taoism and is associated with the three pure ones, representing the core elements of the universe in ancient Chinese belief. Not only a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site, Mount Sanking blends surreal beauty, ancient spirituality, and rare geological value. At over 5,900 feet tall, the peaks are often covered in mist, creating a dreamlike, otherworldly atmosphere. A rare phenomenon here is the Buddha's halo, where sunlight passing through mist forms a colorful ring around a person's shadow, often seen at the Yujing Peak. Mount Longhu is known for its unique landscape, where two mountain peaks resemble a dragon and a tiger facing each other across a winding river. It is not only famous for its shape, but also revered as the birthplace of Taoism, where Zhang Daoling is said to have founded the orthodox Taoist school. The terrain is of the Danxia type, with vertical red sandstone cliffs, deep gorges, and ancient cliff tombs carved directly into the mountain walls. The river below reflects the red cliffs, creating a majestic and mystical view, especially when morning mist rises. On the mountaintop are ancient Taoist buildings where alchemy rituals and spiritual practices once took place. With its legendary symbolism, rare geological features, and deep spiritual heritage, Mount Longhu is a destination rich in Eastern mysticism. With its curved peak, shaped like a crescent moon in the sky, Mingyue Mountain stands out among China's scenic peaks. At about 5,900 feet high, the mountain features soft rolling terrain, lush greenery, and cool weather all year round, creating a serene and poetic atmosphere. Mingyue Mountain is also a sacred place, blending folk beliefs and Buddhist culture, with ancient temples scattered along its slopes. Some natural caves once served as retreats for monks, where carvings and old stalactites still remain. Visitors can hike stone-paved trails, enjoy mountain streams, waterfalls, and thick morning clouds covering the valleys. The harmony of pure nature and quiet spiritual space makes Mingyue Mountain ideal for both relaxing travel and spiritual pilgrimage. Located on China's eastern coast, Mount Lao rises like a massive granite wall embracing the sea, forming a rare landscape where mountains meet the ocean. At about 3,700 feet tall, it is known for its weathered, gray-white granite cliffs, deep ravines, and bizarre rock formations overlooking the waves. Mount Lao holds great significance in Taoism, once being a major center for alchemy and spiritual cultivation, with ancient Taoist temples and hermitages still visible today. Along the trails, crystal-clear streams run through stone crevices, creating multi-level waterfalls surrounded by pine forests, softening the ruggedness of the terrain. A famous legend tells of a Taoist who achieved immortality after discovering the spring of eternal life hidden in the cliffs. On clear days, visitors from the high peaks can see a sharp contrast between land and sea, forming a majestic view where earth and water converge. Majestic yet mystical, Mount Lao embodies a rich harmony of nature, philosophy, and ancient legend. More than just the birthplace of Shaolin martial arts, Songshan Shaolin blends grand mountain scenery with the deep philosophy of Buddhism. Located in central China, the Songshan Range stands about 4,900 feet high, featuring limestone peaks, ancient pine forests, and deep valleys. At its heart lies the famous Shaolin Temple, once a renowned center for spiritual practice and martial arts, drawing monks from across the country. Along the slopes are hundreds of stone pagodas in the pagoda forest, the resting place of great monks, adding a sacred and solemn presence to the site. One legend says that at sunrise, a beam of light once shone directly through the forest canopy onto the temple roof, seen as a sign of enlightenment. Beyond martial traditions, this is also a spiritual destination where visitors reflect on Zen philosophy amidst nature and ancient structures. Songshan Shaolin draws not only martial arts enthusiasts, but also those seeking inner peace and cultural depth. Baiyun Mountain is known for its year-round sea of clouds, especially in the morning when peaks from 3,300 to 7,200 feet rise above the mist, giving the feeling of standing in the sky. The terrain is mainly ancient granite, with many large stones shaped by millions of years of natural weathering. Among the slopes are old-growth forests with rich plant life, including rare hardwood trees and animals living at high elevations. Freshwater streams and small waterfalls run along the base, forming a clear natural water system ideal for ecological exploration. Some rock formations resemble mythical creatures and are believed to hold spiritual energy, once serving as retreat spots for ancient monks. Many visitors camp overnight at the mountaintop to witness the sunrise rising through the sea of clouds, a signature experience of Baiyun. Hiking trails, observation decks, and rest stops are well integrated with the landscape, allowing easy access while preserving the quiet and untouched atmosphere. Shenong Mountain rises tall, among ancient limestone forests, where vertical cliffs climb thousands of feet like natural stone walls. Its slopes are covered in dense trees, ferns, and green layers, with sunlight filtering through leaves to create a misty ink painting effect. Waterfalls crash down from nearly 500 feet high, spraying cool mist and echoing loudly through the deep forest valleys. Natural caves scattered across the mountain stay cool year-round, their moss-covered walls making each step feel like walking through time. Strange blue lights have appeared in rock cracks during storms, glowing silently without heat, still unexplained by science. Locals also speak of ghost-like figures seen at dawn, drifting through fog before vanishing without a trace. Shenong Mountain is not only a majestic work of nature, but a land filled with mysterious wonders beyond understanding. Chacha Mountain is known for its massive granite boulders, stacked as if dropped by a giant's hand, standing out sharply amid flat plains. Although only about 3,300 feet tall, it captivates with strange natural rock formations, huge stones leaning and resting in animal, human, and rooftop shapes, resembling a natural sculpture park. One particularly fascinating spot is the Rocking Stone, a huge rock perched on a cliff that sways slightly with a push but never falls, defying gravity and time. The mountain has also been a filming location for many Chinese fantasy and historical dramas due to its mythical landscape. In spring, trails are lined with blooming peach and plum blossoms, mingling with evergreen trees to create a vivid, cheerful panorama. Visitor paths wind along cliffs and through narrow valleys with scenic platforms and stairs carved into the rock, ideal for both hiking and casual exploration. With its geological wonders and cultural flair, Chacha Mountain is a destination that stimulates both the eye and the imagination. Jigong Mountain is impressive for its peak shaped like a rooster standing tall, which inspired its unique and recognizable name. Its steep cliffs, mixed with evergreen temperate forests, create a rugged and untouched natural landscape. The area was formed by ancient geological movements where weathered granite developed into vertical rock walls, deep crevices, and unusual stone formations. The scenery changes with the seasons, lush in spring, vibrant in summer, and misty in winter when fog covers the slopes. A local legend tells of a sacred rooster that once guarded the mountain, and whenever danger came near, it would crow loudly and summon thunder to drive threats away. On high rocky peaks, the wind blows through gaps and creates sounds similar to a rooster's crow, making visitors feel like nature itself is issuing a warning. Additionally, the site was once a popular resort in the early 20th century, with Western-style historical buildings blending natural beauty and cultural heritage. Known as the sacred southern peak of China's 5 great mountains, Nanyue Hengshan is revered for its spiritual depth and lush natural scenery, including ancient forests, hidden springs, and year-round mist. The mountain stands about 4,200 feet tall. But what sets it apart is its chain of peaks stretching over 90 miles, forming a vast and majestic landscape. At the summit is Tianzhu Peak, once a site of imperial rituals, surrounded by major temples like the Grand Nanyue Temple and scattered Taoist shrines along the slopes. A stunning feature is the morning mist winding through temple roofs and stone paths, making the mountain feel like a floating realm. Hengshan is also a confluence of Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism, reflected in its architecture, statues, and ancient couplets engraved in temple halls. In spring, blooming flowers brighten the trails. In autumn, red maple leaves color the forest, creating a landscape that shifts beautifully with the seasons. With deep cultural roots and a serene atmosphere, Hengshan is both a sacred pilgrimage site and a place for visitors to reconnect with nature and spirit. Standing out with a nearly 500-foot natural cave formed after a massive rock collapse, Tianmen Mountain is renowned for its Heaven's Gate, a rare stone arch often described as a passage between earth and sky. The surrounding terrain is dominated by towering cliffs and deep vertical ravines, making the area one of the most rugged landscapes in southern China. From the base, a cableway about 4.6 miles long carries visitors through dense cloud layers up to the summit at around 4,980 feet, revealing a space almost cut off from the world below. The mountaintop climate changes hourly, with thick fog and shifting light patterns adding a mysterious and unpredictable atmosphere. Under such conditions, a rare reverse halo has been observed, when a person's shadow appears on the mist with a glowing circular ring around it. This fusion of extreme terrain, intense visual experiences, and rare natural phenomena makes Tianmen Mountain one of China's most unforgettable mountain destinations. Langshan draws attention with its continuous stretch of bright red Danxia landforms marked by arch-shaped rocks, ridges, and vertical crevices formed through millions of years of erosion. The entire area features a special geomorphological structure where sandstone layers were uplifted, cracked, and folded along vertical axes, creating evenly tilted slopes, dome peaks, and boat-shaped ridges. When sunlight strikes in the morning or late afternoon, the mountain surfaces reflect deep red and gold tones, making the rocks glow like molten metal. Beyond geological value, The site is also linked to a legend of a hollow rock that, when struck, echoes like a bell and was once used as a wartime signal. A local folk story tells that on misty nights, people once heard chanting sounds rising from the crevices, though no signs of human presence were ever found. Walking trails follow the natural contours, offering close views of layered rock strata and ongoing weathering processes. With its unique landforms, striking colors, and legendary echoes, Langshan has been recognized by UNESCO as a prime example of Dangxia-type World Heritage. With sheer cliffs over 1,600 feet high and a deep chasm cutting through untouched forest, the Wuling Grand Canyon offers one of the most majestic mountain landscapes in China's karst regions. Its terrain was shaped by a massive tectonic fault stretching for miles, uplifting ancient rock layers that fractured and now appear in sharply defined vertical bands. At the canyon floor, constant humidity and low light have created an isolated microclimate where mosses, ferns, and wild orchids thrive on steep rock faces. Locals tell of a mysterious flute sound, once heard deep in the canyon during a misty morning, even though no person was seen within miles of the site. With its monumental terrain, strange atmospheric phenomena, and surreal ambience, Wuling Grand Canyon stands among the most scenic gorges in all of China. What sets Mount Imei apart is the way sensory experiences shift noticeably with elevation, from cool, mossy stone paths under old pines at the base to dense, freezing fog near the summit. The mountain rises to nearly 170 feet, but its real draw lies not in height alone, but in how nature gradually transforms with each upward step, like turning pages in a book. In the morning, mist seeps through rocks and branches with a faint hiss, like the forest breathing, while the sun appears as a dim orange glow behind grey clouds. Higher up, old temples let their bells chime gently when brushed by passing clouds, producing soft, sustained tones that locals consider symbols of meditation. That moment, within a space of cloud, rock, and wind, made people deeply aware of their own smallness and limits. Mount Imei doesn't rely on snow or sheer cliffs. Its surreal power comes from subtle changes in sound, weather, and light. Few places in China show such dramatic seasonal forest color shifts as Guangwu Mountain, where the hillsides become a giant gradient of deep red and golden yellow each autumn. The scenery doesn't rely on sharp peaks or sheer cliffs, but instead draws visitors with layered broadleaf forests that look like painted hills. During seasonal transitions, thin fog drifts along the slopes, making the forests appear to glow, an effect tourists often describe as smoke-free forest fire. Unlike many famed peaks known for harsh terrain, Guangwu captivates through softness, shifting color, and a silence so deep even the smallest sound becomes a lasting memory. Its slow, seasonal rhythm and gentle yet immersive landscape have made it a top destination for those seeking the refined beauty of the forested mountains. The mausoleum of Emperor Yan draws visitors with its sacred atmosphere deep within the forest, closely tied to the legendary origins of the Huaxia civilization. The site lies in a quiet mountain area, surrounded by ancient trees that have stood for centuries, creating a solemn and peaceful environment. Historical texts regard Emperor Yan as one of the ancestral founders of the people, credited with teaching agriculture and herbal medicine, making his resting place a site of special cultural importance. The stone steps leading into the complex follow the natural terrain and reach the main hall, which houses ancestral tablets and stone inscriptions honoring his legacy. A continuous sacred flame burns in the temple area, symbolizing the enduring vitality of the nation and the unbroken thread of tradition. Ancestral rituals are still held here on a regular basis, drawing generations of people who return in reverence. The mausoleum of Emperor Yan carries both profound cultural meaning and a deep connection between faith and the surrounding natural world. Hidden within the quiet highlands, Dihang Grand Canyon stands out for its towering cliffs that appear split by an unseen force. Soaring limestone walls, eroded over millions of years, have created a network of narrow chasms, vertical stone columns, and natural arches throughout the area. Many rock surfaces are smooth and gently curved, as if shaped by ancient water flow that once carved through the land. According to local legend, this canyon was guarded by divine beings who once marked the boundary between sky and earth, making it a sacred place even today. Unusual symbols are carved into stone near ancient trails believed to be remnants of lost ceremonial practices. When rain falls, water cascades down the rock layers in dozens of streams, filling the gorge with continuous murmuring sounds. Dehang Grand Canyon is not only visually stunning, but also steeped in myth and unexplored historical depth. The uniqueness of Siguniang Mountain is most visible in its 4 closely aligned peaks, rising like 4 female figures guarding the western sky. These mountains range from over 16,000 to 2,000 feet in height, blanketed year-round in snow and heavy mist, creating a sacred and remote atmosphere. Local legend tells of 4 sisters who turned into mountains to protect their village from evil spirits, making the area deeply revered and spiritually guarded. The landscape shifts with the seasons, featuring ancient forests, glacial lakes, clear streams, and a rich mix of vegetation reflecting nature's constant renewal. Large stones near the base of the peaks bear faint carvings resembling ancient patterns, believed to be traces of past pilgrimages. At sunrise, light filters between the peaks, illuminating the snow and mist with radiant bands that resemble halos. Siguniang Mountain is not only a destination for climbers, but also a place steeped in myth and spiritual tradition. Hailuogu makes a strong impression with its rare glacier, hidden deep within dense forest, where ice and ancient trees share the same mysterious space. Large transparent ice blocks reflect soft light into the forest, creating an unusual visual experience. Geological surveys show that this area experienced intense tectonic shifts, shaping complex terrain and preserving ancient ice layers for tens of thousands of years. Stone foundations scattered near the lower valley still show traces of fire pits and column bases, believed to be remnants of early human habitation. When the sky clears, the entire glacier shines like a giant glass structure resting quietly within the forest. Iluogu is not only a land of ice, but also a place where nature holds on to its deepest layers of time. The landscape at Guangwu Mountain captivates everyone who sets foot here, with vibrant red forests stretching from the base to the peak, forming interwoven patches like a painted canvas. In the early morning, thick fog drapes over the mountainsides, and sunlight piercing through creates shimmering light bands over the red leaves, forming a surreal and breathtaking view. The terrain is diverse, with deep valleys, multi-tiered waterfalls, and streams weaving through dense tree canopies, adding a relaxing soundscape throughout the journey. A curious feature is a stone slab said to be the resting spot of an ancient scholar, which still emits warmth on autumn mornings despite the surrounding chill, an unexplained phenomenon to this day. Visitors can combine hiking with scenic stops at high viewpoints to take in the entire red forest landscape, dotted with drifting white clouds like waves of colorful ink. With ever-changing beauty, depending on elevation and time of day, Guangwu Mountain is truly a rare natural setting that fascinates both nature lovers and professional photographers. Huangguoshu Waterfall is one of the largest and most impressive waterfall groups in China, standing about 253 feet tall and 331 feet wide. Its limestone terrain creates multiple levels of waterfalls, with the main fall plunging straight down from a vertical cliff like a giant white curtain. According to folklore, the waterfall was created when a water god drove his staff into the river to block floodwaters caused by a water dragon, forcing water to rise and spill over into the current falls. During the rainy season, thick mist surrounds the waterfall, and when sunlight shines through, rainbows appear across the water. This site is not only a natural wonder, but also a common subject in traditional Chinese landscape paintings and literature. With its unique geology and preserved environment, Huangguoshu Waterfall offers a powerful sense of nature's scale and force. The Gaoligong Mountains stand out as a vital biological corridor in the southwest border region of China, where diverse geography, climate, and ecosystems meet. The terrain includes peaks over 9,800 feet, virgin forests, small glaciers, and deep valleys, creating distinct ecosystems at different altitudes. The climate shifts clearly with elevation, supporting thousands of species, including rare plants and animals found only in this area. Historically, Gaoligong was a key route linking China with South Asia, serving both trade and military purposes. A local legend tells of a giant, divine bird on the mountain that could summon rain, and villagers held rituals to ask for rain during droughts. In spring, rhododendron forests bloom brightly along the mountain slopes, while in autumn, the area glows with red and yellow foliage, creating vivid seasonal scenery. Bailey rhododendron is the largest natural rhododendron forest in China, stretching over 100 miles with dense vegetation. The area sits at an elevation of about 5,000 to 6,600 feet, with a cool climate and rich soil that support hundreds of rhododendron species. According to local legend, a girl once waited here for her lover to return from war, and her tears turned into clusters of red rhododendrons. This story is still told during traditional festivals, adding cultural meaning to the natural scenery. Visitors can walk along eco-trails built along the mountain slopes to view the flowers up close and from higher ground. Some viewpoints allow panoramic views of the flower forest stretching to the horizon, perfect for photography and relaxation. What makes Sagana truly special is the towering limestone mountains rising from a broad valley, blending with traditional earth houses and scattered terraced fields on the slopes. The cliffs reach over 12,000 feet, with jagged surfaces carved by erosion into sharp blocks, narrow crevices, and twisting ravines. At the base of the mountains, long-established communities live in stone and clay houses with low wooden roofs, set quietly within the natural landscape. According to legend, divine beings once protected the villagers from disasters here, and some rock formations are still considered sacred areas that must not be touched. At sunrise, light passes through the mountain gaps, illuminating silver-gray cliffs and dark brown rooftops with a solemn glow. Zagana is a place where people and stone mountains exist together in stillness, giving the sense that time itself has paused. Fanjingshan features two strange rock formations known as the Red Peak and the Golden Mushroom, standing upright at the summit and connected by a narrow stone bridge hanging among the clouds. At an elevation of about 8,200 feet and with rugged terrain, the area remained isolated for a long period, preserving an ecosystem with thousands of rare plant and animal species. The vertical cliffs are covered with untouched forests, where thick mist often creates a quiet and pristine atmosphere. Some survey teams have recorded irregular magnetic field shifts in the deep crevices, while locals recount hearing bell sounds and chants from the clouds with no one in sight. At the summit, ancient buildings are strictly preserved, and traditional rituals continue in a peaceful setting that avoids the impact of mass tourism. Reaching the site requires travelers to pass through dense forests and steep, rocky slopes. What defines Fanjingshan is the complete detachment from urban life, where people enter a sacred and untouched environment. Chishidangxia is a land of endless red rock formations shaped by erosion into steep walls, deep crevices, and curved arches that reveal the passing of time. The red sandstone layers here date back hundreds of millions of years, with clear stratification exposed like pages of stone shaped by wind and water. Many cliffs resemble boat hulls, animal horns, or open gates, creating a sense of entering a realm beyond the present. Inside scattered rock caves, ancient carvings, drawings, and pottery remains have been discovered, suggesting past habitation and worship. Chishui Dangxia is not only a geological treasure, but also a vivid archive of natural history and human legacy spanning thousands of years. Chishui Dangxia is a land of endless red rock formations shaped by erosion into steep walls, deep crevices, and curved arches that reveal the passing of time. The red sandstone layers here date back hundreds of millions of years, with clear stratification exposed like pages of stone shaped by wind and water. Many cliffs resemble boat hulls, animal horns, or open gates, creating a sense of entering a realm beyond the present. Inside scattered rock caves, ancient carvings, drawings, and pottery remains have been discovered, suggesting past habitation and worship. Chishui Dangxia is not only a geological treasure, but also a vivid archive of natural history and human legacy spanning thousands of years. Yulong Snow Mountain stands out as a rare snow-capped peak located at a low latitude, yet its summit remains covered in white year-round, creating a surreal and unusual sight. At over 18,300 feet in elevation, the mountain is not only geographically significant, but also holds spiritual meaning for locals, believed to be the embodiment of a sacred dragon guarding the southwest. What is remarkable is the rapid change in terrain. Within just a few miles, the landscape shifts from temperate pine forests to alpine meadows and then to eternal ice. The upper snow layer is formed by modern glaciers, rare in China, and features deep crevasses and compacted ice formations visible to the naked eye. Although more recognized in recent decades, Yulong Snow Mountain still retains its wild charm and mythical aura, making every ascent feel like a journey through time. With its pristine beauty and elevation above 1,400 feet, Shangri-La Scenic Area is one of the few places in China that hosts temperate forests, glacial lakes, and alpine meadows within one continuous ecosystem. What makes this area exceptional is the presence of ancient glacial lakes, nestled in primeval forests, surrounded by limestone mountains and snow pines, creating a cinematic natural landscape. The scenery changes distinctly. With the seasons, spring brings wildflowers, summer reveals endless grasslands, autumn is ablaze with maple leaves, and winter is completely covered in snow, each offering a different world. Pudakuo is home to rare species such as the Asian black bear, snub-nosed monkey, and endangered migratory birds. The blend of sacred atmosphere, unique geography, and complex ecosystems makes Shangri-La feel like a destination outside the bounds of time and space. The uniqueness of the Tengchong volcano area is clearly seen in the intense geothermal activity happening right at the surface, where boiling springs, bubbling mud, and hot gases constantly escape from active vents. On a foundation shaped thousands of years ago, hot springs and thermal pools release steady columns of white steam, carrying a distinct sulfur scent through the air. Stone paths lead deep into the steamy valley, where natural hot water pools shift colors depending on their mineral content, glowing from pale green to golden under sunlight. When the weather cools, the whole area sinks into a fog of rising heat, and the swirling vapor makes the scene look dreamlike. Tengchong is not only a land of heat and fire, but a living map of the Earth's ongoing transformation. The most outstanding feature of the Yalungzangbo Grand Canyon is that it is officially recognized as the deepest canyon in the world, with an average depth of about 16,000 feet. This canyon was formed by a major river cutting through high mountains, creating a massive geological arc with steep cliffs and sharp bends. The terrain changes rapidly within a short distance, from icy peaks to dense and humid valleys, forming a unique transitional ecosystem rarely found elsewhere. The entire region remains in a wild and untouched state, home to rare species that thrive only in deep, moist environments. Scientists believe that the canyon floor may still harbor undiscovered organisms, highlighting the area's exceptional biological value. Local communities living along the canyon's edge continue traditional ways of life and maintain rituals tied to sacred rivers and mountains, preserving a unique cultural identity. The combination of geological depth, isolated ecology, and native culture makes this one of the most extraordinary natural wonders still unknown to most people. What makes Huashan Mountain distinctive is its steep, blade-like cliffs and narrow trails clinging tightly to the vertical rock face. At over 7 times 60 feet high, the mountain is formed by stacked granite slabs, creating sharp peaks connected by broken ridges and deep gullies. Along many paths, people must walk across narrow wooden planks, bolted to cliff walls, barely wide enough for one person, with sheer drops on both sides. The atmosphere shifts quickly as valley fog rises, covering the trail and making it feel like entering another cloud realm. Rock slabs at the summit show signs of wind erosion and time, with some even marked by impressions resembling hands or feet, recalling legends of ancient hermits. Sound nearly disappears on the mountain, leaving only the wind's whistle and stones knocking together as gusts sweep through deep cracks. Huashan is not just a mountain, it is a place where people confront the raw force of nature and the limits of their own courage. Taibai Mountain is the highest peak in eastern China, rising over 2,360 feet, known for its snow-covered summit and clearly layered terrain, transitioning from primeval forest to icy heights. Along the ascent, travelers pass wide canopy mossy forests, scattered shrubs, and finally reach bare stone slopes where snow remains year-round like a silent cloak of time. Small meltwater lakes lie quietly among the rocks, crystal clear and perfectly still. Strong winds blow through stone gaps, creating sharp howls that sometimes sound like voices echoing from the earth's depths. At the peak, large rocks bear ancient erosion marks, resembling nature's open records of millions of years. Once considered a place of concentrated spiritual energy, the mountain is tied to folk tales of hermits who meditated in the snow and mist. Each step on Taibai Mountain is a passage through shifting climates, ancient geology, and deep-rooted cultural layers that remain unforgotten. Meiji Mountain stands out for its shape like a giant round tower rising from the forest with near vertical cliffs over 500 feet high, carved into hundreds of Buddhist grottos. The landscape blends natural formation and human effort, as ancient peoples sculpted directly into the rock to create Buddha statues and wooden walkways connecting the caves. Many large statues sit deep in the niches, facing open space, evoking a sacred stillness under the vast sky. The rock here is reddish-yellow, glowing vividly at sunset when light filters through trees and casts a warm hue over the carvings. Some parts show burn marks or cracks, evidence of past earthquakes and fires that shaped its history. From below, the wooden paths spiral around the mountain's body, forming a striking visual structure that both thrills and intrigues. Meiji is more than a scenic spot. It is a symphony of stone, wind, faith, and time. Colorful Danxia is famous for its natural sandstone layers, covering hundreds of square miles, creating a landscape that looks hand-painted. The rock layers, formed from sediment over millions of years, lifted by tectonic movement and oxidized to produce bands of red, orange, yellow, and white. Seen from above, the whole area looks like a giant geological painting with endless waves of color. What makes it unique is that the colors do not change by season, but shift depending on the time of day, especially at sunrise and sunset. According to legend, 7 fairies once wove silk here and left their bright fabrics on the mountains before flying back to the sky. Many visitors say the landscape looks like floating silk in the air because of how perfectly the colors blend. The best experience is walking or driving along high trails, or taking a hot air balloon ride to see the full stretch of color formed by nature and time. Guani Valley stands out with limestone terrain shaped by erosion, forming deep ravines, steep cliffs, and clear mountain lakes. The area stretches across dozens of miles and includes old-growth forests, waterfalls, and clear streams running along the slopes. In autumn, the vegetation turns red, orange, and yellow, creating vivid reflections on the still lake surfaces. A local legend says 2 major peaks in the valley are the transformed forms of a loyal official and his geese, still calling each other through the wind in the cliffs. The name Guan-A comes from the shape of the 2 peaks standing opposite each other, as if leading a path through the forest. Visitors can hike through the forest, cross small wooden bridges, and follow the high lakeside trails with wide views over the valley. Camping overnight in the valley brings rare quietness, with running water by day and starlit skies at night, ideal for those seeking a break from city life and reconnecting with nature. With its mysterious beauty, the Amni Mashan Range lies hidden in the eastern Tibetan plateau, revered by locals as the most sacred mountain. Its highest peak rises over 2,600 feet, covered in eternal snow and ancient glaciers, forming a landscape that is both harsh and mesmerizing. The entire area remains remarkably untouched, with no cable cars or modern lodgings, only narrow pilgrimage paths used for centuries. This mountain plays a central role in Bon and Tibetan Buddhist traditions, with thousands of devotees walking around its base in Kora rituals to seek blessings and spiritual purification. Glacial streams descend from its slopes, creating a pristine water network considered sacred by surrounding communities. The harsh climate and extreme altitude preserve unique habitats for cold region primates and birds, some of which remain poorly studied. The blend of spiritual significance, physical remoteness, and unspoiled elevation makes Amnya Mashan one of the most mysterious and least known mountain ranges in China. The uniqueness of Tianshan Tianqi is most evident in how a glacial lake can exist at the edge of arid desert land, forming a natural paradox that defies ordinary perception. Located at around 6,400 feet above sea level, the lake is entirely formed from melted snow atop year-round snowy peaks, with no outflow, resulting in an unusually still and crystal-clear water surface. The surrounding terrain features steep sedimentary slopes with minimal vegetation, providing wide open views and mirror-like reflections of the sky and snow-capped ridges. During the dry season, while nearby plains become scorching and cracked, the lake area maintains cool temperatures and consistent humidity, forming a microclimate that supports cold-adapted plant species not found elsewhere in the region. Local communities consider the lake sacred, tied to a regional legend of an ice dragon god said to sleep beneath its depths, a story passed down orally and unknown outside the area. Although access has improved, no construction intrudes upon the lake's shoreline, preserving its original structure. Kana's scenic area attracts visitors with its unique blend of conifer forests, glacial lakes, and snow-covered mountain ranges. The vast Kanas Lake changes color with the light, sometimes jade green, other times silver gray, and serves as the heart of the entire landscape. In 1985, a real event occurred when researchers observed large waves on the lake surface under completely calm weather, an unexplained phenomenon to this day. Surrounding the lake are ancient pine forests and alpine meadows, home to local people who pass down stories about the lake's spirit. When morning fog settles on the water, silence dominates, and even the sound of water dripping from leaves becomes clear. No loudspeakers or motor vehicles operate in the protected zone, giving the impression of stepping into a forgotten world. This is not just a scenic destination, but a place tied to collective memory and mysterious events still unsolved. Calacan's scenic area is known for its smooth grasslands stretching across the highland mountains, where the sky feels endless and green colors spread to the horizon. During summer, wildflowers bloom across the hills, forming layers of color that shift with elevation, from pale yellow to deep purple. There are no fences or concrete structures, just faint trails cutting through grass and leading into distant pine forests. In 2003, a real incident occurred when a horseback team lost direction in sudden fog and went out of contact for 2 days, prompting local authorities to restrict movement zones for safety. At dawn, light pours in from behind the mountains, awakening the grasslands with a golden glow. Distant horse bells and wind moving through grass create a silent melody of nature. Calacan is not just for sightseeing. It's where nomadic life, ancient tradition, and untouched highland beauty come together. What makes the Tian Shan Grand Canyon unique is its towering, vertical sandstone walls, shaped by nature into massive red-brown cliffs like ancient stone fortresses. The canyon stretches across multiple layers of rock, with narrow passages barely wide enough for one person, making exploration both challenging and awe-inspiring. Light slips through cracks hundreds of feet above, highlighting rugged stone textures and flowing time-carved patterns like natural artwork. Inside the canyon, temperatures drop noticeably and sounds echo in layers. Each footstep, breeze, or rolling stone reverberates like it came from another dimension. Some sections feature bizarrely shaped stone arches, believed by locals to be gates of heaven, leading to sacred realms. Its raw beauty, striking formations, and mystical atmosphere make this not just a geological wonder, but a journey that challenges the limits of ordinary exploration. Bayan Baluk draws visitors with its vast highland grasslands, combined with a winding nine-bend river that forms a rare natural symbol. The river doesn't flow straight, but loops gently through smooth grassy hills, creating the appearance of a silver ribbon when seen from above. Wild swans often gather on the river's surface, adding a peaceful touch to this vast natural space. The region is also tied to ancient nomadic legends, said to be a land gifted by the gods for its harmony of water, grass, and sky. In 1986, a team of geographers had to halt their survey midway when their compasses, watches, and navigation devices lost signal near the ninth bend of the river, an unexplained event that remains a mystery. Though the terrain is flat, it's framed by distant mountain ranges that act as natural borders to the grasslands. Standing here, one feels completely immersed in nature, sensing the silence and steady breath of the earth. The most striking feature of Kulagangri is the commanding presence of its snow peak rising over 700 feet, with bright, permanent ice sheets stretching down its slopes like frozen rivers. The mountain remains snow-covered year-round, and large cracks reveal deep blue glacier trenches formed from ice accumulated over thousands of years. On clear days, sunlight strikes the surface and the entire mountain glows brilliantly, as if coated in silver. The thin air makes every step heavy, yet the silence is absolute. One can hear the wind brushing across the thin snow beneath their feet. Kulagangri is not only a research site for climate scientists, but also revered by locals as a spiritual mountain tied to ancient beliefs in snow deities' protection. The landscape of Kulagangri evokes a world apart, raw, icy, and sacred beyond words.